I'll finish it. I'll just drop $1,000. That was gonna be $1,000. That's correct. What's that? Montgomery.
Go back out.
I do not know what I did. Obviously not that.
Who said I did it right though? This is what I thought it was, so I'll give you that.
I'm waiting for Kyle over here to tell me I'm stupid.
Stupid?
Yeah, there you go, right on cue.
It sounds like you saw what you wanted.
Because I didn't know.
That's
Star for one paper list.
That's just what we both got.
If you got it, then it's right.
And then Sterling,
Okay.
you got a better score than I did on the last test. Good. No, I don't like you anyway.
And you're never going to forgive him, are you?
You're trying to copy me and stuff.
No,
Yeah, I got it.
No, it won't be for long. I'm sure tomorrow I'll be crying.
Well, it's one day more than anyone expected.
Touche.
Yeah, I don't know, he was happy yesterday talking about his jacket and everything.
Nothing like today, though.
I'm gonna get another one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the blood and Crips colors, aren't they? Wow, you're living on the edge, I'll tell you.
Not really in Japan, but.
All right, worldwide. They have attacks on bases.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Those guys come in the military, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many are actually in the military?
They are. And they don't forget so easily where they came from.
Yeah, because if Y is 0, the S will be whatever.
Oh, you do 15?
Don't
You're in for 5.
I was
Somebody do 5?
Because it didn't really specify.
Huh?
I was because all I did is we did this. I just kept going with it.
I'll get my calculator, but that sounds about right to me.
Averages.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm Jewish, it's whatever.
Well, then it's got to be right.
True.
I'm only with averages and percent.
Yeah. See, 100 divided by 20. 100 divided by 5. 100 divided by 20. I get roughly that, yeah.
I need to mirror these currencies. 2, 3.
No, is that your answer, or is that the problem you did?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the date is. I seen that was it.
It almost seems like you need more instructions and know which
Oh
one.
yeah, I mean, there's software, man. There's so many different things you can use.
Did you see? You did the C, right? And NCR?
Pretty bad.
And I could be wrong. But if you have a 57, it's gonna be the same thing.
Was there a formula involved? I get it wrong then.
Now, how'd you do it?
There's an A in my book.
You found 5 people at
Because
first.
that's all that matters.
You found 2 people at the same time. It's the same people. It was the same.
Maybe we should have done. Maybe it should have been like this.
Shit, no.
We don't use that word.
I'm just trying to make people
I didn't use the formula.
People see that. Which one? I got this. The more confident you are.
17 people. Well, it said, because it said, what is the, it said estimate people.
But they
right?
found 12. At least, so it can't be.
I got 15.
We got a camera.
Question. You're good. Yeah, I guess I'll take that.
5's a little hard. I'll grant you, 5's a little hard.
Is it the NCR?
NCR what?
NCR formula?
There's no formula.
There's no formula?
Just a proportion. Just a proportion. It's just a proportion. 5 is not an NCR. It's just a portion. I'll bet Mason got it. Yes, sir.
On number 6,
Yeah.
A, B, C, D. Okay, so for A, I put 2, 3.
Right. 2/3, right?
For B, okay, for B, I did that kind of weird because B is obviously
B is
one.
that number. It's a
It's
1.
obviously 1.
Yeah.
What I did is I pointed at this, so that wouldn't have been the answer.
No, you don't want to waste time. Just write down 1. On
And
the
so,
position,
and then
yeah.
when it said the x-intercept, I just was like, that's my x, but that's not what it's asking, is it? It's asking what the difference is.
No. At the x-intercept, what's the value of y? What's the value of y for an x-intercept? The value of y at an x-intercept is?
Sorry, the question is
Okay. An x-intercept means a point on which axis?
the x.
And what are the y values on the x-axis?
I put
No, just think about the graph.
-3 is an x.
No. On anywhere on the x-axis, what's the value of y?
0.
Right. Right. So put in a 0 for y and solve for x. Put in a 0 for y and solve for x in the equation. That's it. You're done. Okay. That's the right number. Huh?
So I'm confused.
Who is?
I think it's different over here.
Well, let me look at the equation. Maybe your 1's not right. Where's the equation? Yeah, put in a 0 for y. It's not a 1. It's a 3/2. It's a minus. I don't know how come you got it. I have no idea how you got what you got. But if you put in a 0 for y, then it's a minus 3/2. It better be what they get.
I was a -2. You're a negative.
That is what they got. They did it right. You just don't do the algebra right. Put in a 0 for y and rearrange it for x. Okay.
But at the end, so for D, doing this would have been correct anyways. Not for
Yeah,
B and C.
right. For D, you have to do this. But 3 points are enough. You're wasting your time. 2 points are enough for any straight line. 3 points if you're paranoid and insecure. But no more than 3 ever.
Really paranoid.
Yeah, well, don't. You're wasting time.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, because if you do this formula, you're gonna multiply $5,000 in to drop in parentheses, and you're gonna have 5,000 times 300, or 5,000 plus 300. And you're gonna do 5,000 to the other side, so you have 1,500 and 315, and divide by 300, and you just get 5,000.
I just did it way better. I think the same thing, check them and it definitely came out.
We just do with the I equals 3 like we do once.
I guess you've got to be at both. Something that's probably a good thing.
Right here.
Yeah.
Number 8 or something?
That's 19. Yeah, because each combination, yeah. Right. Where's 20? Everything else was 17.
This is 17.
You can go.
What's the
No question.
18.
Yes, sir. You have a question. What do you got?
I remember playing most of it.
The one of them I did the foil, so I did this, but I think I did it this way. Well, I had 2 of them. So one of them that,
Oh,
2
yeah.
questions like that.
Yesterday's class?
So sorry, I know what I did.
Oh, it did too?
Negative.
No, I know, I'm pretty sure. So, I did it like this whole equation here, and then I.
Plus or minus?
No,
Yeah,
no, don't
I
tell
know.
me, don't tell me.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
You work on this?
This sloppy, we just got to draw lines.
Well, no, when I rewrote my from
Okay, yeah.
onto the next, this is the one that I wrote, and that's why I did it that way.
You gotta keep those lines as long as they should be. And those square roots have to go all the way down the bottom.
I guess here's my original one.
Yep.
Now, my original one is right.
Yes.
But then when I rewrote it,
Yeah. So you guys talking to Tina, so we finish reading.
is this one right? I know, right?
Oh, it's Tina.
Oh, okay.
So 4?
Well, it's 146.5.
What does this mean?
1% of that.
13, 18,
Oh, sorry.
10,
I need to put some signs in here. There you go.
How'd you know to do that?
The formula and the book tells you to do it that way too. You take the standard deviation. This is these minus data.
Data minus mean
Over
the deviation.
equals 1.2. I'm doing the chart is 88.49.
Yeah, except that that was on yesterday's
It's the
test.
only value given.
The whole test would be like
Take it
factoring
from 100%.
These 4.
Did anybody do 3? Because
Everybody agreeing to
my
everything?
answer's not looking right.
You ended up with a...
Well, I
I
figured
feel
out
like we've done that problem a lot of times.
what would be 1%
All I
of
did
it.
was, took this one and I subtracted that.
Exactly the same problem
That, and then I...
done before,
By that
another
number.
test.
So,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be the percentage?
28.5 seems way more than, because I'm,
Yeah.
It was on another
We
one.
better know that one.
It's the only thing that occurred to me to
But
do.
once again, that was on yesterday's
Yeah.
test, so it won't be back.
Yeah.
That topic's been covered.
Yeah, that's how I remember.
Yeah.
what'd you get? I remember. 0.28.
But they would ask for how many checks can you write?
20%?
No.
20.5%?
So you plug that one back in.
I figured that's probably what I should
The
have did.
answer equation.
Mm,
Was it
No,
4 and 5?
I got
So I
19.
said,
That seems more reasonable
Oh, let me take a 2
than
out
what I
of
was
5.
gonna do.
Just
What I
give
did
everybody
was,
80 and
because it would make
not.
sense, but there's only 28
Fine, well,
million out of
that's
these numbers, so that would
3
actually...
checks. Oh, it's 50 cents a check.
Wouldn't it? Or should it be a just
$3.
25
That
increase?
would be for the
well, hear me out on this.
The 25 wouldn't be that.
Go back.
They might not have so much checks.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds.
The F was for freaking resting.
That's right.
Here, come on, you have both.
Let me get the rest. Okay, is everything settling down? I think so.
What I thought I would do is,
I can't believe I did that.
since that's
I can't
the
either.
base,
I really can't.
I just divide that
Just
by
did something just to
1%.
short out a line.
And
That's
then-
like short shooting sometimes.
Take that 1% of that,
That's,
That's all I can say.
well, it's
And
just
then,
self-desserts.
divide that by 1%, because I figured,
You're the same
whatever-
guy that didn't have that square root come all the way to the bottom.
whatever that would be divided
Did you have
by
that line
1%
all
would
the way
give me
down?
the answer,
Stop
but
it here too.
it gave me
That's
like
another
80%.
They
And I
just
was like,
square root
that's
the top,
obviously
not
not
the
wrong,
bottom.
80%,
Straight lines.
profits. But,
Isn't it there?
yeah, I like your way of doing it better, that seems.
Really hard.
I think it's small, maybe I think we need 2 points something.
Okay.
No, because if you think about it,
Ooh, those
really
guys.
was,
A little.
Yeah, it shows right.
you are
there.
right,
Look at the-
because what I shouldn't have done, I shouldn't have
Let's
divided
have
by
this.
this. That's exactly what I was supposed to do. What was your answer when you subtracted that?
28.5 million,
Was it 20?
Can't believe it.
28.5.
Did my conservation,
But that's not.
No.
That looks a lot better. 19.
Well, it's not prime, but.
That means you never
I did all this part right, haven't I?
You do, because you get the difference, because you need to know the difference, and then you need to find out how many times that 1% goes into that difference. So it would tell you,
The line goes this way,
in my mind,
Where's
that's
the
how,
1% coming from?
which means you do everything on the top, so what I
because
did,
of,
when I did my problems.
that's
was
what that
I
would be.
did this,
Well, where'd you
divided
get
by
that
you got the
from?
square root of it.
No, that's just what I'm thinking, because in order to find out what the decrease in percentages, you need to know what that is, and you need to know 1% of that. So when,
I know, I did too.
so that you know the decrease,
Well, at least I'll
you
get some
can
points for trying.
find out the difference and then divide that by 100. That's just the way I'm thinking.
Be positive.
And we'll have to find out because
Just give me a beat.
Yeah.
That's all.
I reversed it now.
anybody,
I solved it.
anybody do 3?
That's the Japanese export.
Yeah, 19.
I think so. Hang on.
I did it, but I didn't wear it.
I'm aware it exists.
It's there.
Are you putting it on
I
the whiteboard?
Yeah.
Whatever's asked for.
I probably got it wrong, but I
Number
did it.
3.
Number 3?
I got 75%.
No, I can't. Because
Well,
they're
rather
not-
formula.
it's a
We
free
won.
increase also.
It was weak forever.
Which one?
I got 19.45%.
Oh, yeah, fine.
That was only a
I
small
couldn't,
increase.
I tried to factor it
Yeah,
out.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it couldn't possibly
It was
be
like-
right sometime.
30.
This one.
Yeah, okay, I think we're right.
That's equals.
1.45%.
Okay, 5 and 1. Okay, factor.
How did you do yours then? You just-
One that you can add to the top. Can't factor. Quadratic formula. Quadratic.
So, 28.5.
Those smarter pants over here.
It's faster than the way I did it.
I was just trying to find the percentage difference. So I subtracted the 118 from the 124, and then gave me the 28, and then I made an X, and I just solved for X.
We had nine.
Wait, 28X?
No, I made X my unknown values. So this is just the difference between
Oh, so
146.
you're saying X is the percent that we need to use.
Right. So this is the difference between 118 and 146.
So you just divided both into
Plus the
146?
No, I subtracted the 118 from the 146 to get 28.5. So I know that's the difference.
So to get X, you have to divide both sides by
Yeah,
100.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's where you're, so you did the right thing, you were just
It's
giving
just a
1%
different one.
somehow.
Yeah. So I know to find out whatever it is, I have to know at least what one unit of it is, so I can. This is what I think.
I think it was number 4 that I got 75%.
Number 3 is on the front board for.
And I think I screwed that one.
Do you want to do the
I got 11.
calculation?
Like when I looked at
One
it, I
question,
didn't get it.
somebody? 28.5 over 146.5.
Oh.
You subtracted the larger from the small?
I subtracted the original from the final. That's the way that you always do percent changes. Percent change is irrevocably, immutably, and finally, for all time, in all cases, the percent of change is the final value minus the original value divided by the original value. And now, if it's a decrease, it'll come out to be minus. If it's an increase, it'll come out to be positive. That's automatically included. But the formula never changes. The formula never changes. Final minus original over original for any percent change in this or any other universe. So what does that come out to be as a decimal? 28.5 divided by 1.46.5?
I guess it would be negative 0.1945392491.
That's good enough. 30 over 0.19?
Yeah.
Times 100 minus 19%,
Yes.
or
Did you know
19% decrease.
Did you say you could stop there?
Take it either way.
Good drawing, Bart. Yeah, square root of 21.
I did it different, I guess. It still worked. but-
Yeah, it
Would you
works.
have to put two of them?
You're doing the same thing.
Or just subtract like that?
145 by 146, so I got my difference.
Yeah.
You can do it.
But
you
you
can
just
do
be
it
sure you divide by
five
the
plus,
original.
And then another one is
You don't
minus
divide
five
by the
minus.
larger,
No,
or
you're right.
So, yeah,
divide by
So it's
the
not
original
plus or
number.
minus.
Because that's the
I just.
That's the
this is
base
the
that
answer.
it's
I can
changing
write it out
off of.
again.
So
It's-
you want to know the
Taking that away.
But he said you can do that, and he's
So
a
you
new
got-
document. I'm just asking because I don't want to do something like that and then.
I would be safe. I'd be safe.
The check return. Dang it. Good one to have asked for. Okay, let's go to.
For this, I think you just answered the question. I was about to say,
Either way.
if you don't put a negative, you say decrease.
Yes,
and-
that's right. Okay, so page 2, part 2. Any questions on part 1 still?
Yeah, number 4.
Number 4,
I got number 4.
over there.
Yeah, it's over here.
Yeah, go take a look. He's feeling he's nailed it. That's a C table lookup.
Yeah, don't.
So it should have been the same
Data.
type of thing.
Yeah, data, means, deviation, and then you get your chart. It's going to be 88.489. Since it's only one data given, then you would subtract it from 100.
That's right.
And then you get a level.
To get the percent.
Just to get a percent.
And if they give you two datas, you have to subtract one from the other.
It was just throwing me. I was like, looking at how to do it.
Yeah, when you look at those, all you're looking for is mean, deviation, and the data point, and then you already have the equation. You can plug it out real quick. Do that one.
You said that there's 2 data points?
Yeah, if there's two data points, if you're given a second one, then you would have to do the same for the second one, and then you would subtract one from the other percentage. Because once you got the deviation on that one, or the z-score, sorry, once you got the two z-scores and you have the two values, you would subtract them from each other.
That you subtract the small and the large.
Right.
And then you
And you would, okay. No, just the two values. Because they were normally at, yeah. The only reason why you're doing 100 is because there was only about one
What's your
value.
tin
So
again?
you would assume that you're taking it from 100.
Let me see it too.
This is,
Well, I think I'm gonna like,
If I do it like this,
oh,
Number 4?
yeah.
yeah, my fault,
It's the
the original
data-
formula is 3 plus,
data point,
0.5.
deviate.
Why do you put that one over that one?
Because that's the formula. It's the data point minus the means over the deviation. Then you get your deviation of 1.2. Chart says it's
That's all I did.
8.49.
So the second
So
one was
since
$8.
there's only one data point,
Where's the
Yeah.
chart that you used, right?
it's on all the formula.
$8.
Yeah, it's on all the formula sheets.
This has to be
So since there's only one data point given, you would subtract it from 100 because obviously the whole, and you would get 11.51. But if you're given two data points, yeah, correct. And that would be the probability of being in between the two values given.
So it's 8.
Instead of 1.
If you write 8 checks, you charge $7.
Because there was 2 of them.
That's what you're saying.
And that's way faster than
If you wrote
if people were
8
using like
checks,
the
you can
belt
charge.
shape
If
curve.
you wrote 9 checks, you can charge.
These problems yesterday?
Oh, for the public
I know
opinion?
there's something,
Or option?
Either one.
Opinion. Option? Yeah.
You're wrong on that one, too.
The public option, you just take all of them
9.
and divide by the whole.
We did 7.
So you take the top line,
Right, so
add them all
this is
together,
24.
and then the whole amount,
All right.
and then
Okay, so this
divide it down.
is your numerator.
But it's asking for the,
This
what,
should
is it
equal
asking
0.
the probability?
And
So you have to
looks
make
like
sure
it
you
is.
write it out as a probability.
7 checks.
That's a decimal, correct? Is that right, Tom?
Pardon me, ma'am?
Probability is written on the decimal or a fraction?
Either way,
Okay,
equal, equivalent, yeah. Or a percent, your choice.
okay.
when you added the sum,
Like that one?
so to be clear,
So this one would be
this minus
14, the whole thing is? What's the whole thing?
which value are you subtracting the mean from? Because I just can't get this.
If you wrote 9 checks, we're calling it 9.
You're doing X.
7.5.
Okay, I think we're making the same as. Can you do 7 on the board?
$8.
You don't have to do the whole thing, just the mean part, because this is where I'm missing the point too. Because when I see the equation, I'm thinking, okay, come on, what's your mean? Where's your mean? 2.61.
So yeah, 12 over.
And how'd you get your mean? Did
32
you
over 50 gives you 16.
you took your never mind. I think that's
It says Republican
And again,
and against.
Try this equation down. So let's write these down.
What I do is I just
X
say,
bar,
okay,
and you were saying that's good.
X bar equals.
well, that's only if it's given. You
Summation
see
of
something that says
fx.
given. So if you have something that's
All
given,
over
that
summation
should
F.
with this,
Okay.
you don't have anything
Summation
that's
X,
given, so
fx
you
59,
add it
right?
on with it.
So it's
you'll
still
take,
50.
you'll take against.
Summation F 22.
All these together, and
So it equals
Republican,
2.6.
so you just take 8.
And it's right now.
Plus this one.
well. What the mistake I was making was I was using the individual
Oh.
instead of the
Yeah,
data table. So remember,
No, you're looking like this.
I even made a mental note of that too, because it would just flip like that if you.
Yeah, try plugging it now.
I see, you just added these up to the mean. No?
Correct, and
This is two.
because what I kept doing was taking the x's, adding them, and then dividing them by the number, and I was jacking them
It'll
up.
never come to 0.
As I
But
found
that was
out.
a signal. That signaled you that you had to come out here and find it.
Yeah, and I sat
So
there and
that's
ignored
worth
it.
doing.
Did you do this?
Yeah, not for that.
X.
That's
yeah.
good.
Who did
Good.
this?
I do that every single time.
Okay, now,
I
the
think
bad
it's
news
26
is,
over 50.
this question was on yesterday's test, so it won't show up today.
Well, I'm pretty sure there'll be some sort of itineration.
Yeah, it could be, it could be.
Oh, what becomes?
You wanna be clear on that? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything else?
Just stop me when I'm wrong.
They're
Because I gotta
Republican,
keep
not
saying
or,
it or I'll screw
But
it up.
and,
Alright.
so,
Right.
for them to be Republican
I'm
and
assuming
against
because you
Republican.
know the FOIL.
You take this whole bottom line,
I use the
That's only if it's or.
quadratic equation.
If you
just
try
to-
plugging in 10, it'll be $8.
Okay, so
But it's
Once
against
you already have
public
your
speaking.
balance.
Yeah, it's not Republican or against.
Yeah, but you take
Numbers.
the whole line because
Pretty
it's
much
all
all we're doing
against.
is just.
No, you're not asking for anyone against, you're asking for anyone against
So
or
that's
also
the
against.
concept.
Yeah.
So that's your
Use-
first
use the
value.
pattern.
You
As
take
long as the
two,
pattern's
and you
Yeah.
substitute for X.
Mhm.
So you put two.
And then, yeah, once you plug in the numbers, you'll see a pattern, and you'll be able to guess better. Until you narrow it
So all
down
the
to whatever you
Republicans
want.
who are against
over
it,
this
so
one.
public opinion is 12.
Then
Hey, for this one, doing those
So it's
things,
like
Y.
we got like 1, 2, 3,
Then
0,
if we take this whole row,
five,
we
vice
have 4.
versa.
With
Y
the whole
equals
point
zero,
of
then
Austin.
your X.
Or is it just that one?
Just, it's only, it's not asking for the Republicans who are for public, it's only asking for against. So it's just that simple one, it's a lot easier than we thought it was, because at first I
Yeah, I know, I
I
know.
thought it was
I
4.
just take it.
You put the
But it's
zero
just-
and the X
that's
dot
just
make
like
a
a-
Y
And that's
coordinate.
right.
Well, it's been confirmed to
Then
her,
you
and
have
no one
your
else has
parabola.
had issues, so.
Oh, I do.
Well, we can ask him.
Because like,
That's the final order.
That's right.
Yes.
You guys are right.
Yes.
This is kind of bad.
You're looking for it?
And B.
Because I know this is
Republican
my
and
coordinates here and here.
Can
So I know it's
Oh,
going to be
sure.
problem 3, I know what 1 is going to
Those
be
were
0.
Republicans who are
It's hard to know this one, I know it's going to be 1 positive 1.
And I've got number 2, and I just. Well, I'm a Democrat, I can't answer this. No, absolutely right. Now, if you hold the paper, right here are the ones,
Yeah,
the 12, they're both against and Republicans. So that was the one box.
So if it was 4, we would go this whole row.
That's right.
And
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely the way to do it. Now, that type of question was not on yesterday's invite, so it's probably going to show up.
change the Y on the change the X towards the
Mhm.
But it's not the second part of
I enjoy it.
because I
I think I'm
Because
considering
it just
stuff
cover
like that.
things.
Yeah,
And add.
yeah, right.
And the one I mean, it's good.
X, yeah, that's X.
So did you hear?
Yeah, I do.
On 8,
Have to do it that way.
oh, and it has and, it's, so you'll take, that's against public option? So, oh, but it's
Okay.
and Republican, so it's this one, so it's just 12.
So just 12?
Because it's both against and Republican.
So it has to
So it
be
has to be
both
just that one,
requirements.
but if it's
Or
or,
then it's.
if it's or, it's the
What's the
whole
final
thing
number of checks?
and.
I'm feeling real.
Well, it's like,
I feel like it's worth the time.
Did you just write him and explain to him, it's not an English class.
Hold on.
Okay.
We'll
have
them write it out.
Nine.
And 2 letters. It helps me.
First and a 3?
Still here.
How goes?
Crazy. Got a crick in my neck last night from studying.
How'd that happen?
I had to keep looking down.
Keep looking down.
Yeah. Kept doing that homework over and over again.
You sound like you're laying a trick on me. You're making me out to be a bad guy.
No, you're a good guy. I just don't like that.
Is that how you do? Hi. Thank you, Des.
I'm a little mathed out.
How do you say so? That's what Kim said too.
Are you?
Yeah, that's where you want to be 2 days before the final.
Oh, I don't
Exactly
know.
where you want to be.
I was able to get another half day off today. So I made it all the way through 5.4, or 12.4, 12.5. I was thinking, oh, I'm coping along pretty good. It was about, I don't know, almost at 2 o'clock. I was like, maybe I can finish 12.6.
This afternoon?
Yeah. So, then I get like, because I'm doing the checkpoints as I'm going through it. And I get to the second checkpoint in 12.6.
Right.
Then it takes me until like 3:30 and I was like, what is this?
It's a good thing you got that behind you.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
good.
that's as far as I got so far.
Well, you're in the right place to finish it out with the help of your classmates today. That's
Well,
right.
I think I understand it. I'm gonna show it to you if it's okay. And I just wanna make sure that I'm doing it the right way. Before I'm messing it up.
Yeah. Right. Well done.
So, tomorrow, I forced them to give me a day of leave, so I'm off tomorrow. So I can finish
You better be on
time and,
being, on
Yeah.
target.
I hope so.
On, yeah.
But,
Oh, 2 days left.
yeah. Is it, we're starting the test tomorrow night?
Yes.
Okay. 1 day left.
Well, 1 day left. All right.
1 day left. So hopefully I can finish this homework tonight and then just review tomorrow. I hope.
That's a good plan. Yeah. You didn't get to the practice test anyhow? Okay.
No, because I was doing 12.4 and 12.5.
Okay, you definitely want to get to the practice test because it's a different mode.
And that's what I was hoping on doing tomorrow, is I was gonna take the practice test and try and answer them. If I couldn't answer them, then look it up in the book of what I need to do to solve the
Right.
problem.
But don't underestimate the increased difficulty of the test problems. So it's not going to prepare you to get your homework done. You're going to have to do a practice test. The more the better.
12.6, that's it.
That's kind of.
What is that?
Standard deviation on a frequency distribution. What to do is start with chapter 12, so we get the book out of the way. We close the course, and we devote full attention to the test.
I like it. It's got staying power. Green's good.
So let's put section 12.6 up in the old whiteboards. And
We
really
do the test.
full attention to the test. Knock this out of the way. Okay, looks like each person's gonna get 2, so hang loose. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 37, the biggie. The monster. You got that one okay, right?
Oh,
Yeah, for you. And please column headings.
superfluous.
Superfluous. Superfluous was a word I put up the other night that is even better. Superfluous. Frivolous and superfluous. Okay, let's try to put them up there and see how they go down. Where's Anthony?
So I just said, I was like, what? You're giving him 37.
I got a suggestion. Kyle, what was your first problem?
First problem?
5? Eric, why don't you take 15 and Kyle can devote her full attention to 37. And Kyle, Eric, why don't you give her the whole board here? She's gonna need it.
Well, I can use my.
No, she's gonna need it. Why don't you slip to the other side here?
Just do this.
No, that's not gonna work. Why don't you go over here? She's gonna need it, because that's a monster problem.
Okay.
That's Terry, I want to introduce you to him.
I've never met this guy. I don't think I
You're
have
right,
any
true,
room.
Terry. Hey, you guys, not fight. Not fight.
Oh, he's over here by
Sounds
himself.
like introducing dogs to each other.
You said that, I did.
I skip no one's fighting.
Okay, you're right, Eric, she doesn't need the room, you come back.
Is she writing right now?
Yeah, she's right, but she's, I didn't mean to set you up, Kyle, I did not mean to set you up. Eric's right now,
Relax. It's okay.
You give me this, you give me the problem and you're saying you didn't try to set me up?
For 11,
13.
for 1 and true. 9, false. 25. False. 27.
My crooked.
Well, her head was in the way.
Perfect negative.
Oh, I'm sure it was my fault.
Is A. Good. Okay, 13.
Was it wrong there?
I got 45, 48 for that.
What's the question?
Graph the table. Yeah.
Didn't say whether or not it has correlation.
No, it was just straight up graph the table.
I just did it. Yeah,
So this is the one that Kim and Kyle want to see, because they found R for this.
the second number was right. And this.
We did that one in
And
the,
this as well.
I did that
So
in the
can you multiply these two and then?
Test is not. I've been doing lots of different.
So 548 minus.
Second show, when everybody fails, it's the same, they find out. I guess, yeah.
33, 66.
Your test failed, so give us
So 236 times 128.
because if we're the guinea pigs,
That's right.
we reserve something for that. And then like, I took, I just added this one.
Is 50,000.
Mine's all erased from here down.
Five zero.
It's supposed to be 260 instead of 240.
Okay, this is correct for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you do that?
Well, it went
And
from
that one,
the last one where I thought it was
16,364.
marginally.
Numbers in order?
Yeah. 16364.
1636.
Oh, Kyle and Kim, come around because we want to show you. Eric did the plot for you.
I did?
No, Kim and Morgan did it. Come on. This is what it looks like. Does that look like a .93? Does that look like a 93 correlation?
Yeah.
Looks like a 94
Yeah.
to me, but,
So are these equations that we're working on 37 going to be on the quiz?
No. Oh, yeah, B and C are. You don't have to do what Kyle and Kim did, but you've got to do what Eric, well, you don't have to do what Eric's doing right
Yeah,
now.
'cause this one
What you
is
see is
tricky,
going to be on the test.
I would have screwed up the rest of my answers.
You try to
In
multiply
other words,
equals-
you'll be given the formula y equals mx plus b, and you'll be asked to use it.
Okay, you'll be asked to use that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
an easy one.
Right. All right. Good evening, Anthony. How are you tonight?
Good evening. About 37.
I did it, but I did it in this one.
What's that? I was on the way here. I had to turn in some slides for. I think it's called tomorrow. And one because I'm public affairs. So yeah. It's called tomorrow.
Okay, so plug in numbers.
So I had to make those PowerPoint slides.
And C is the important one, because C will be on your final.
N is 11.
Part C.
X, Y.
This is 12.6.
There's 12 questions on any of these.
Were you actually looking for the R? For
I
the
got R. Did
For
you
all
get
of
R?
them?
What'd you get?
oh, for 30, I'm talking about for the majority of the problems, the ones with scatter plots.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure if you were looking for R. You just wanted the correlations. I think it was like the first couple.
Whatever they asked for.
Okay.
They didn't want R, they just wanted you to make the dots. That's all.
Yeah.
And 3 and
I
5.
wasn't
It's not a
sure.
hard course.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to do the R and all that. So
I'd like you to, but no, not required. The book didn't ask for it. Not at
My
all.
numbers would be, my numbers would probably be skewed because, well, did it,
It's
did it,
Yeah, they give us some grades on our quizzes, so we have no idea what to make. This game is just,
37, the answer to A is that R is equal to 0.93. After that laborious calculation. The answer to B is that the regression line is y equals 0.62. Hey, x minus 3.07. Okay, now looking at this equation for the regression line, Mason, what's the slope of this line?
0.62.
That's right, what's the y-intercept? Okay, so now what's the y value that goes with an x value? They want part C here. if the person earns,
10%.
has an X value of 100, assuming that this is in thousands per year, 10%,
Yes.
okay. So that percent. So we put in 0.1 for X equals 0.10, true?
Correct.
Put in X equals 0.10 and find out. We express that as Y of 0.10 equals 0.62 times 0.10 minus 3.07. And what do we get? Okay, equals 0.062 minus 3.07 equals minus 3.08 minus 3.008.
Yeah.
Does
Negative
it say anything about
3.08.
rounding up to different place? The answer into,
You gotta put your M inside B.
well, you put your m inside b, but then you need to put your two equations back into your y equals mx plus b equation.
Nine, and the one you did in class yesterday. Nope. In fact, they didn't seem to have one on the one you did yesterday. So I didn't see one yet. So we'll have to wait for today's. We'll find some on today's samples. You grade it yourself? I'll show you how in a moment.
That's great.
Right, so I won't take the grade.
Oh.
So how did you come out on that? B equals minus 3.1. You're absolutely right.
And then will we plug in 10% for C?
Yeah, for part
your
C, I
X
did it in the
value.
front. Here it is in the front.
That's it.
Okay? Y equals 0.62x minus 3.07, true?
Right.
That's M, B,
Yep.
I. So they want to know what value of Y corresponds to a 10% value of X. So you put in 10% for X, 0.1.
Well, why do you have the 10%? Do you multiply both sides by 10% so you can put it in the equation?
This, what's that there? This means Y of 10%. Doesn't mean Y times 10%. It's a notation, it's a functional notation. It means Y evaluated at 10%. That's what that notation means.
So like when they're doing the Z formula, they're doing Z and then.
That's what it
like
means. It means Z at this point.
234 or whatever,
That's
and then
right.
you're solving for your.
That's what it means. It means
They
each
went
time.
with a
You're
minus.
gonna be crazy, huh?
Right, no, I'm perplexed myself why it
Because
comes
it should
out
be
to
plus.
be a minus 3. It comes out to be a minus 3 in your equation or a plus?
Oh, yeah.
Your B. Your B's a minus 3? Right. What I'd like to do is pass out your quiz 4s back to you. First, are there any questions on chapter 12? Any residual questions? The formula, the one that's on the board is the one that's asked a lot of times. I needed that. I really did need that.
I need a rebound source on this test.
By the way, the famous dot plot capturing all the raw data. Some of it was pretty raw too.
Raw like ugly raw?
You go there, I don't go there.
Roman.
Okay, there they are. Everybody's passing. We have some people that seem to be very serious about getting an A in the question. You guys seem to have a natural talent for probability.
I know, but it's not under though.
Okay, go for it next time. Sure.
passing for you, you see, right? It's easy.
For me, it happens to pass it, but that's just for me. For Maryland, D is a passing grade. It won't transfer to other schools.
Number one.
Only C's will transfer out to another college, but a D is passing for your degree.
Number two guy.
I'm shooting for a C. Or a B.
A degree will get you, a D will get you a degree.
I'm shooting
gives
for a
us a
B
bid.
now. I'm shooting for a B
Look
now.
at this guy, shooting for a B. He was screaming for an F when he came in here.
D gives you a deal.
I'm going to scream for it.
That was the grade I was looking
You might as
for.
well just walk
Look
out.
at this guy, he's actually smiling. I've never seen Mason smile.
Killer right behind it.
It's unbelievable.
95.
We're gonna take a picture.
Look at him, he's laughing. Who are you and what did you do with Mason?
I killed him in the hallway.
Okay, now the bad news. We gotta get ready for the final. And as some of you are realizing, the problems on the final are harder than the problems on the homework, the problems on the test, because the test came from the homework. They just like to make them harder, and they succeeded. They did make them harder. So what I'd like to do is go to the test that you did in class yesterday. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's put up this trial test. Oh, by the way, let me pick up those tests back from you right now, please. I know you want to take photos. You can take photos of them.
All right. Told you to make her come back.
So we're around the average.
Yeah, you can round it
I
up.
bombed the last one. The last week's quiz, whatever. Week 3, I bombed it completely.
I was hoping for at least one A in the, one A on that one.
Don't worry, my grade, that
Even
61.
I'm put it up there because I don't know how I got this.
Week 3?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, real bad.
Is this Mason
I was-
happy?
I was like, oh my god.
I'll be happy next Friday when it's here. Air Force is working up today.
Oh,
Yeah, I was surprised that
I was shocked. Yeah, I remember you getting the test before I did, so you was happy. I was like, I put it on. Nah.
Enjoy the moment because the world's going to change tomorrow about this time.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a waiver for everything in your proof that you actually have residence to go back to there. And you have residence to go back to this.
Green's hard too, guys.
Here we go.
Obviously not that.
This is what I thought it was, so I'll do that.
You're stupid?
Right on cue.
That sounds like you sounds like what you wanted.
Because I didn't,
Oh,
star. Did you get it?
Oh, that's just what we both got.
you got it.
Which one?
Then it's right.
And then Sterling,
Okay.
you got a better score than I did on the pet last test. Good. Don't. I want you anyway.
And you're never going to forgive them, are you?
They're trying to copy me and stuff.
Yeah, I got
Class.
the first 2.
I can't get used to this. Mason
On the
laughing
slope
and
is
smiling.
Shit.
Oh, it won't be for long. I'm sure tomorrow I'll be crying. Like, what's
And
this
that's
test?
one day
I got
more
mine
than
done
anyone
like
expected.
Wine stuff is
Touche.
Yeah, I know he was
One.
happy yesterday talking about his jacket.
C. That's where I stuck it, but now I just realized I got
I'm gonna get another one.
Y0 in the software. That's pretty much.
Let that encrypt going.
Just remember that.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's the blood and Crips colors, huh? Wow, you live in the edge, I'll tell you.
Yeah, right.
Not really in Japan, but.
No, not as
All
much.
right, worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
it's action
section
faces.
four.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
You had to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Those guys come in
12
there,
and 2
too.
numbers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many are actually in the military?
Yeah.
So you had to do
They don't forget so easily.
deviation for 60 and then for 65, look on your table, find your percentages and then subtract.
1.1?
As far as to get one.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, negative 1.5.
At least that's how it is.
Yeah,
Right.
because yeah, if Y0, then that's going to be whatever.
That's how I did it.
And then D drop.
Questions. Each point work, each one's
I was looking.
I'll get my calculator, but that sounds about right to me. Yeah, right. It's gotta be right.
I'm only with averages and percent.
Yeah. I just basically divide
Pretty
by
quick
20.
money.
I divide by 5, it's been divided by 20. I guess it was roughly that,
I need to hear this conversation going
Yeah, who got assigned 5? There've been a lot of questions.
Yeah,
on.
it just didn't make Didn't make it
Slow down.
5 problems, right?
We knew right.
Like a front
Get
board
7
problem.
points. You get 5 points on
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Not at 6.
Yeah, 5's an IQ test. See how
So you
many
get
pass.
5 questions.
Was that?
Anthony,
Yes.
you're gonna get 5, I know you are.
I got 6. Well, let's see, what's 5?
Now, is that your answer, or is that the problem? Yes.
Hold on. 5? Yeah, I got
Yeah, I wasn't sure which
15
one.
people.
That seemed that was it.
5 times 5.
What?
How do you do that? Right?
Did you see, you did the C, right? In NCR? Combination?
Like that.
I do, bro.
But you have a 57 in class?
Was there a formula involved? I didn't get it wrong then. I don't know.
No, because everybody.
Now, how'd you do it?
It's an A in my book.
They found 5 people at
But
first.
that's all that matters.
They found 10 people the second time, but 2 of the people were the same.
maybe
It
we
was
should
from the
have
5
done-
group.
Maybe it should have been like this.
I don't know.
You think?
We don't use that word.
I'm just trying to make people like
I didn't use the formula, so I think I did it wrong. I think I just made it
people
up
see
now.
that and they're like, okay, I got this in the bag. And the more confident you are,
7 over 17.
7 over 17 people.
Well, it says, because it says, what is the.
It said estimate people,
But they
right?
found 12. At least, so it can't be just be 7.
How the heck did
I got 15.
How do I get out of the way of the camera?
The question. You're good.
Yeah, I guess I'll take it as
Oh, you still in there?
asking a percentage. I don't know what I did.
Five's a little hard.
So, I was like 7 out of every 17 employees.
Is it the NCR?
For real. I'm looking at it
I
like
couldn't
an
do
average.
I couldn't do percentage because they didn't tell me how many employees there were, so I didn't know.
Well, that's why I did, because I added the 12 plus the 5 that they already found, and I added the 12 that they randomly selected.
5 is not an NCR.
So that's why I was like,
It's not an NCR.
Yeah, they
this threw
said
me off.
I don't know that.
they said they found 12 the second time, but 2 of them on the 5, so it's 12 scrap 2. That's 5.
So that's why I got the 17, and then the 2 plus the 5, I got 7 over 17.
Oh.
That made no difference. That made no
I didn't use the formula for that one. I was like, I read their question. I was like, they can't be asking for a formula right now. This don't add up to anything.
so, and then when I said the next intercept, I just was like, that's
The median? This is middle number.
what it's asking.
The book has a formula. It's
No. At the x-intercept, what's the value of y?
n plus 1 over 2. Yep, that's it.
What's the value of y for an x-intercept?
47.5, that's what I got. 47.
The value of y at an x-intercept.
Sorry, the question is.
Oh, okay. An x-intercept is a point on which axis. And what? What are the y values?
Oh, that's on 10.
So 9. So all that was equal to
that.
At least your standard deviation is equals. Explain themselves.
I got .13.
You don't know how you got it?
You might
I
got
don't understand the question.
For number, for 8?
Same equations might be easier to
I went like
understand.
this, 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if I did it right.
Well, 13%.
I got 13%.
There, 13%. That's what it is.
Oh.
I don't even know
I
what's
said
happening right now.
boy,
It's
second child is either a boy or a girl.
The
Third child
percentage.
is either
Yeah, okay,
a boy
13%.
or a girl,
Yeah.
or a
So I had to be
boy
careful,
or a
because a lot of
girl.
times
There's only
we run a
one
test, or
that's
not
going to
point,
be.
not
They go in and they do it in
So I
graduate
said
school.
1, 2, 3,
Another
4. 1 out of 4 is what I said.
Assessment, and they're like, okay, we got these 12 people.
I don't know if that's the correct way of doing
Of
it.
those 12,
pretty much
2 were already.
Not
on
ju-
the
it's not
final.
3 families,
So
it's
you
1
got 10.
family.
That's what happened.
Well, you better talk about what X stands for.
No.
X stands for the total number of corrupt people in the building.
Yeah, so her first child
How does that relate?
is we're gonna say is a boy. And her second child could be a boy or a girl. And her third child, either way, could be a boy or girl, boy or girl, so I was like, well,
Okay, I'll explain to the whole
if it-
class.
I don't know which one's correct. I don't know if we were supposed to, I don't know if 5.11 was supposed to throw us off.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
I don't think I've seen them.
Okay, we want to go through these problem by problem, because the problems on all of the finals tend to be almost exactly like the final report. They change very little.
Yeah, and it's like the
So the problems you're doing right now are almost exactly the problems you're going to be doing tomorrow. So we want to go through them one by one on the whiteboards and be sure that we know them.
Aye, aye. I looked at number 1, it looked
wasn't
great.
framed and how you're used to seeing it.
Now, number 2. So the final amount, the future amount is the payment times 1 plus, I'm gonna get my formula sheet. Oops, sorry. Oh my God, you took the polish off my boot too.
Yay.
Okay, future value of an annuity. Okay, so N, 12 for 20 years, and over R, over N. Okay, the numbers are set up right, so assuming that she did the arithmetic right, then that's the total amount of the annuity, and the person paid in 100 times 12 times 20 times 24, so this is 100% also. Well done. So be sure you know how to do those, because there will be predictably a problem just like this from the formula sheet.
Was
You
that
gotta
the
know which
question?
formula to use and to plug in the
How
numbers.
did you know it was an annuity?
Ask her, how did she know it was an annuity?
Ask him.
David, how'd you know?
It's in the question,
Oh, you've got to know what an annuity is.
because there were periodic.
Okay, Mason, tell me in your own words, what is an annuity? Mason, have you ever read the pages in this book? Honest, face up.
Yeah.
Okay, what's an annuity?
Confusing it with something else, obviously.
But whatever it is, you're not confusing it with, what is an annuity?
Something that, it's an account that gains interest over time.
You gotta know a lot more than that. Now, coming out of this class, you should know stuff that's gonna serve you for the rest of your life. And annuities and mortgages are gonna perhaps be in your life, so that's why they're in this course. So we want you at least to know what the thing is.
So when it said compounding, I thought it was just the
Well,
compounding.
no, yeah, but that's your fault, because you don't know the thing clearly enough, so you gotta spend more time.
Oh.
So you can go to the right formula, you gotta be able to do that, you don't have a chance.
Don't walk away.
Yeah, annuities are when you keep paying.
Yeah, you should know that,
The right
yeah.
steps.
Annuity, right, okay, continue.
My
3.
math, I don't know, I'm not getting the same numbers.
408 for the first 300.
It's an annuity. If you see them dropping 5,000 and walking away, that's either compound or something.
Depending on what it
So,
says you're getting interest.
125,
It's annual.
24, 125 times 13, and so the total, so 3 is another 100%. As a group, you guys are nailing them. Number 4.
Assume that the height is normally distributed with mean 65 and standard deviation. What percentage of the women are between 60 and 65? So 60 is a -2, and 65 is a 0. So between -2 deviations is 47.5%. 47.72? Yeah, okay, nailed. 4 is also nailed. Nice work. Yeah. So the z-score is a -2, and the other z-score is right on the mean. Right on the mean. So between -2 and +2 is 95%, so it's half of 95, 47.75, 75. Okay? 65. Okay, 4 is right. 5 I'm going to do myself, so I'll stick with the 4 is right. 4 is right.
Got one? Yeah.
How about 47.5?
Where's 6?
I did it easy way.
Slope of the line, 2/3, y-intercept, x-intercept, -3/2, and d, graph the line, 100% also. 7, find the modal. Modal is
So I remember.
3. That's okay. B, find the median. Median is also 3, because there's 6 there. There's 4, 10, 17, 20, 22 total people. So 4, 10, so 11. Yeah, median is in B. And the mean age 2.68. It's another winner. Now standard deviation, I'll do it in the front board myself. Also, because Blitzer didn't teach us how to do that. So number 8.
We weren't sure.
There's no work.
I got 13%.
I did it a funny way, and I'm pretty sure I
I got it, I think I did it a totally different way as well.
No, you don't want to write anything down. So what are you going to write down?
I was gonna show I did it, I'm not sure.
That's right.
It was like, there was 3 kids.
Yeah, set y to 0.
Okay, 9.
For C.
Who got 10?
That's what it says.
10's over
I
here.
had 10, but I don't think I did 9.
You say if y is 0.
Okay, I'm going to assume 10 is right. Does anybody disagree or agree? How many agree on 10? Any support?
There was 10.
Yeah.
Right there.
Someone said something yesterday that
10's pretty mechanical. You should be able to do it.
y equals 0.
Sorry, 3.1, negative 3.1.
Wow.
Negative 3.1?
This is y is 0 right here.
Okay.
So that means x, you solve for s.
And number 9.
Yeah.
9 is nowhere to be found.
That's how I figured it out.
Okay,
the y
okay, so we flip the
Yes.
whiteboard a little. What's the marker here?
9 and 10 too, sir?
Yeah, 10? 10's over here.
Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong.
He's going to do
I don't
7
either.
D on the board. For 8, you got
Not too bad. As a class, people doing around 70%, which is okay for the first day of our preparation. Tomorrow night, we should be up around 90%. That's why we're doing this.
The only problem I'm getting is that,
And then,
like,
Curry.
I know how to get answers, but I'm forgetting what the answers are that I'm getting. Like what was it to, which one did you do? The 6?
Yes.
Like 6, I got all the right answers, but I didn't know which ones were which.
Well, I hope you will by tomorrow night, because you gotta know what these things stand for.
I can isolate everything, I just don't know
You
what
gotta know
they are.
terminology, you gotta talk for talk.
I-
You gotta know what the words mean. Like, you're not gonna believe this, but this person, this word, this room that did not know what an annuity was. I know it's hard to believe, but there is.
Positive 4.
You can walk it back, don't walk it back. Okay, number
Zero
5.
there probably.
Number 5 is Europe's idea of her brain teaser. It's a twister problem, it's a puzzle. I solved it 2 ways in the front board. They're both the same way.
Which one is this?
So these are just different approaches. Those 2 are the same equation. They will give the same answer. Has everyone read number 5?
Yes.
Okay, Randy, what do you think it is? What's going on? Good luck.
lost on this.
No idea.
Okay.
I thought it was the combination.
No, it's not, it's not. It's a straight proportional problem. It's a problem in proportion.
It's like one thing in, next thing out.
Okay, so.
Okay, it's a proportion problem. If you use 2 cups of sugar in a cake for 5 people, how many cups of sugar should you use in a cake for 10 people? That's right, 4. Okay? Right. Okay, so you see, the things are proportional. Things are proportional to each other, okay? Now, if you've got a group of identified corrupt people, 5 of them, and they got the badge, I am corrupt, okay? And you sample 12 other corrupt people in the company, and you found 2 badges, okay? Now, if you sampled the whole company, you would find 5 badges, right? And then how many people would be proportional to the 12 that yielded 2? 12 corrupt people yielded 2 badges, right? So the number of corrupt people in the company would yield 5 badges, true? So that's the proportion.
So you're trying to find how many people are in the company.
How many corrupt people are in the company? How many corrupt people are in the company is what X is standing for. So out of the 12 people that you sampled, known to be corrupt, you found 2 wearing your badges, okay? So if you put them back in, and you said how many people proportional to that would be necessary to find all 5 of your badges, if you were finding them in the rate of 2 per 12. For every 12 corrupt people, you found 2 badges, right? So how many corrupt people would you need to find all 5 badges? 30. Right? 30. 30.
Did you do that on the test?
I think it's the hardest problem I've seen on all 5 tests. But there is one on each test that's designed to keep you from getting 100. I think this was it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go forward to number 9. Dr. Megan Bennett studied the relationship between work schedules and job satisfaction and salaries and job satisfaction, and found that the correlation coefficients to be minus 0.84 for work schedules and job satisfaction, and 7.76 for salaries and job satisfactions. So now, which variable, work schedules or salaries, would you consider to be a better indicator of job satisfaction? Now, the only person who should not get this was a person who was here yesterday, Akiko, because English is her second language. And this is a problem in shades of meaning in English. Which variable would you say to be a better indicator of job satisfaction? An indicator. All you want to do is pick the one that's going to tell you most who is satisfied. So it's not a trick question, it's just pay attention to the words. Anthony, what's the answer?
I got work schedule.
Absolutely. Okay, Kyle, what'd you get?
I said it'd be better. Saying better is subjective, because do you
What'd
want
you
a
get,
more
work schedules
accurate
or
statement,
salaries?
or do you want one
answer.
that'll make the boss happy?
Well, no, one answer. Which, okay.
Europe
Europe has told me I am allowed to give negative points.
Math is an illusion.
I don't know it there.
There's no right answer.
Let's continue. Okay, how many felt that salaries would give you better? Okay, you fell into the trap, because salaries are positively correlated, right? But they don't care whether it's positive or negative, they just want to know which is the telltale arrow, which is going to yield better information.
Number.
Exactly.
Oh.
They don't care if it's anti-correlated or correlated, which is stronger. Not for, they want indicator. So they look at all the people that are dissatisfied with their work schedule. Okay? Okay, so we find the people that are dissatisfied with their work schedule, and then they have high job satisfaction, higher than the other one, right? Okay, so you've been in the trap. That's what it's there for. Now, 4D,
You got a positive increase in everything. I don't know why I got that right. I don't care, I got it right. So that's work schedules and jobs, right? Dang it, man. You gotta work as much.
The work schedule came first, so it gotta be that one.
Yeah, but no, I just wrote down both of the R's. I'm talking about salary.
okay, 1, two,
Salary, the scale
4,
would be
and
doing
5.
work scale.
Okay, A, they want the modal car age, the mode. So Randy, what's the modal age?
Number 7.
That's right, 7, because it's, 3 is the modal.
Well, question 7.
Trying to confuse
And
you.
the answer.
Yeah, the answer is 3. 3 is mode. Okay, mode is 3 because these are the x values here, right? Those are the x values, and this is the frequency. This is x versus frequency, number of cars, true? So which x value, which age, if you will, occurs more than any other age? Age of 3. Now the median, how many total cars are in the study?
22.
Okay, so we want the 11th car. Let's find the 11th car. Here's 4, 10, 11 is in this group, isn't it? So it's in the 3 group. So here's what you do. So you can have your data table, and you can just write your data table if you want. X and F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't hurt to write it. 4, 6, 7, 3, and 2. And now we want cumulative frequency. So 4, 10, 17, 20, and 22. So 11 is in that group. So 11 is in the group, well, 3. That's how you find the median. Are we all okay in the median?
Yes.
Now, the mean. X bar is the sum of xf over the sum of f. So let's make a new column. How do you get what? Okay, we cool? Okay, now the sum of xf. So let's make a new column, xf. Okay, what does it come out to be? 4?
4, 12, 21, 12, 10.
Total?
59.
59, huh? Over 22. 2.68. Right? Mean 2.68. Now standard deviation, standard deviation,
That's the mean.
that we're going to do now. We okay to erase?
Right.
Standard deviation. We have a formula for standard deviation. S is equal to the square root to sum x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. This only works on raw data. This is a formula for raw data. We've never done a standard deviation for a frequency distribution. So there's 2 ways we can do it. One, we can just make a raw data table and use this formula that we already know. So let's make the raw data table. This is always safe because it's something you understand. I have 4 1s, true?
Yep.
I have 6 2s. How many numbers I have? Total 22. I can do it. I have 7 3s. Okay, I have 4 1s. I have 6 2s. could, but what I want to do is relate it to something you already know, and I have 7 3s. And I have 3 4s. And I have 2 5s. So this is the raw data that that summary table came from, true?
Yes.
Now x bar is 2.68. So what I need now is x minus x bar, because I have to square that and sum it. Then I'm going to take x minus x bar squared. Then I'm going to sum that and put it in there, right?
Right.
So I went back to the raw data because it's something we're familiar with. We've done it this way. So now, what is x minus x bar? Minus 1.68, true?
Right.
And how many times am I going to write that?
Just once for that.
No, I'm going to write it 4 times because there's 4 of them. This is raw data. That table is based on the raw data. So I'm going to write it once for each one that's in my raw data.
Right.
Okay, how many 2's are in my raw data? So I'm going to
6.
write minus 0.686 times, right? Okay, how many 3's are in my raw data? So I'm going to write plus 0.32, right? So 0.32, 0.32, 0.32, 0.32, 0.32, 0.32, 0.32. Now how many 4's? 3. So what's x minus x bar for a 4? 1.32, 4 times. And how many 5's? 2. And that's a 2.32. Now I have to square each one of these.
All of them.
One at a time. What's this squared? Well, what's this squared?
2.82.
And I have to write that how many times?
4.
And what's the next one? 0.68 squared.
0.46.
Okay, and 0.32 squared.
0.102.
0.102. Now I think you're starting to catch on that if I have table data in a table, that the formula for my standard deviation becomes the sum of f times x minus x squared, x bar squared, over n minus 1. Because looking at my 1's, how many 1's were there?
4.
So how many times did this appear? 4. So I just have to write it once and multiply by 4, true?
True.
So the formula that you're used to using for raw data changes only slightly if you're given a distribution table. And that is that this entry occurs in your sum this many times. So you multiply this entry by that. Or you just write them all down if you're masochistic. Go right ahead. Write them all down. Go back to the raw data. And you will see that this number occurs how many times? This number occurs how many times?
6.
And this number occurs how many times?
7.
And the next number occurs 3. So you can either write them all down and add them all up, or you can just multiply the number by 4. Yes, sir.
Like for example, like if you said f x minus that's
X bar.
X bar
Squared.
power. So that'd be like for the first one like 4. Like you're all the f's added. So I'm kind of confused.
Well, you know the order of operations? Okay, tell me the first thing you do in the order of operations. Hi! How'd you get in this course? That's right, there's no entrance exam.
Please excuse my dear answer.
If you don't know order of operations, I mean, you're dried meat, man.
Parentheses.
You got to know order of operations. Parentheses.
Please excuse my dear answer.
Okay, no. Then what comes after parentheses?
Exponents.
Exponents. So what's the first thing that you do in this equation? You square this, right? You square this number. Right, after you square it, what comes after that? Multiplication, right? After you square it, you multiply by f.
Right.
And what comes last? Addition, so you sum them all up.
Right, I was just trying to find out what was going where as well as trying to find out.
Okay, this column goes right there. This number goes right here. Okay, so let's write out a few of them. Well, no, we form another column, that's all. We need to have another column. And that column is called f, x minus, I'm going to write it here because there's a little more room.
Weird.
I thought I was going to write it there.
Ford said no.
Good. I just want you to go up. I want a new column, f times x minus x bar squared. Okay? So this is x minus x bar squared, right? What's f for this entry? 4. So what's 4 times this number? 4 times 2.82. What is that?
It's 11.282.
What's the next entry in this column? It's going to be what times what?
4 times.
No, the next entry is 6 times this, right? 6 times what? 6 times 0.46. It's going to come out to be what?
2.76.
2.76. What's the next entry in this column going to be? No, what times what?
7 times 0.102.
That's right.
And so after we complete this column, we're actually going to have to sum the entire column.
That's
So
right.
we
So
start
you sum
plugging
it up.
And we plug that number into our.
That's right. You got it. You're catching on. Okay. So now what I want everybody to do is, that was the one that you did in class. Stuff's boring, isn't it?
No, just.
What we want to do is to go up to the whiteboards and do that question. Which one? Everyone. The one we just did, number 4.
The whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing.
7?
Number 7, yeah, number 7.
Yeah.
No, you need the columns in order to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, you gotta write all numbers down. So that's why we're doing this, so you get used to doing that.
Break time.
Yeah, do all 3 parts. Do all 4 parts, not that practice.
Yeah.
So, you gotta write it all down. You gotta do all the columns.
And then the median is the middle. So what's the middle? We got 5 points here, so the middle would be fine. 2 over here, 2 over here, so the middle's right here.
Very good idea.
Because the book, see, but you also don't feel guilty. It doesn't really, when you feel like you tried hard.
How about when you really mess up, though? And you really, cause somebody else an awful lot of difficulty. You just can't write it off, man.
You can to make amends.
There you go. But you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel bad. Aye.
So, yeah,
We're on the mean, right?
so
Yeah.
3 months later.
So pretty much what I was doing.
Time heals all wounds. Yeah.
And then adding them and then dividing the amount of number.
You gotta multiply the frequency by that.
Then why doesn't the,
You multiply your.
why doesn't the?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. You get some Y together and then divide it by your number.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Sorry. I get it now. Mean for, hold up. What would be the individual data?
Right there, sir. Good pile.
What
Yep.
would be considered individual data? Or would it be just data without frequency, just be like that number? So if you were, the one for mean, for individual data would be if you were just given a set of numbers.
Mm-hmm. Raw data, yeah.
It wouldn't be in graph or anything, it's just a plot of numbers, and that's what you're working with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's.
Just add them up.
That's the difference. The difference
I was using.
Yeah, off a graph you get classes, but just raw data, it's just a list of data, no frequencies.
Basically, you don't need the F or FX.
There is no F, yeah.
Because there's no frequency. The frequency.
Frequency is always one, yeah.
And that's where I.
Good thing we got that straight now rather than an hour from now.
Or yesterday.
Or yesterday, it's all history now.
Sum of the frequency times X.
Yeah, but there's no frequency in the raw data, so.
True.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question about yesterday's test?
About my yesterday's test? Sure.
So, there was a portion of it where they were saying the males' reading scores versus the females' reading scores.
That's right.
Please tell me I got that right.
You got it right.
And I was trying to figure out.
Because you asked me to.
I was trying to figure out.
Yes.
First, I was trying to figure out like an exact point.
Yeah.
And I ended up splitting it down into 3 sets of 19 and just saying, okay, once it gets to this third set.
I know he's lying.
No, it's not the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to subtract one expression from the other and have that expression be greater than 49 or 19 or whatever it was. So it's an inequality.
What if it's right at 49?
The question asks for what range, doesn't it? Or
It's how many years?
At least.
at least? Okay, then you're okay.
Because I got
Yeah.
it to where it was 40.
Yeah. Oh, what'd you do? Count them out?
Huh?
You did. Oh my God. That's pretty sophisticated, man. He counted them out year by year. Yeah, he did.
So I got 49.
Yeah, I just took the
On both
baseline.
equations.
So what did you get?
Or when you subtract 24 years.
So that's why you're sitting over there, you know, doing all that.
What's that?
I missed that one by a long shot.
Oh well. Plugging the numbers.
Hey, plug in the numbers. Do you do it too, to plug in the numbers?
24 years. I got like.
Is that what you got?
2.0.
24?
24.
That was what I got when you put in the equation. You put in the equations and when you subtract the finals, you get 49 years.
Substitute numbers.
Yeah, that's right. That's the right way to do it. Did you do it that way or just count? Yeah.
What's the right way to do
I think that's what I got the first time, and I thought it was wrong.
I'm sorry?
I think that's what I got the first time, and then I thought it was wrong, and
I put like 2.0.
Try to do it differently.
Yeah.
Because like 1 year is like.
I figured out for 1 year what the difference was in 1 year, so it was 19 points. So there's 19 points a year.
So you got 2.03, just like him.
Yeah,
But it's
so-
not 19 points a year.
So which one's right? 24 or 2.03?
I didn't work it out yet. I don't know.
They asked what year.
Please work that out.
What year?
You asked
How many years? How many years?
How many years?
Yeah, how many years will it take?
Theoretically, it
before-
should have only been like 2 years because you were already ahead. If you used the equation and only put one in,
Right.
subtracted it, then you only got like, it was like 20-something points already ahead, so it would have only taken like 2.03 years to go, like,
That sure seems right.
because that's what I did. I was like,
Yeah, 2022. They asked me what year. I was like 2022.
Ah, so how many years or what year? I see.
How many years?
Okay. Same
I
answer.
got 24. I don't know.
Same answer.
4 out of 5.
No.
I need this.
4 out of 5. 4 out of
Because
5.
I epically failed on that table, but that's only like 2 points, eh?
4 out of 5.
That
4 out of 5. Yeah, it's about like a dollar sign.
Honestly, that one test, I think he took almost like 10 points worth of dollar sign talk because I left every single one of them on.
No, I had mercy after a while, man. I couldn't keep taking them off.
Yeah.
At least he didn't taunt you on yours. On mine, it's like I wrote questions.
He said
He's
they're
like,
irrelevant.
he's like, you wish.
Well, that's because you dropped a 0. That wasn't a dollar sign. You had the bank paying off 3/4 of your loan. She did. You did.
Your response should have been at my bank. That's what happened.
So what happens after I hack in?
Well, I guess.
Number 2, and I just. Well, I'm a Democrat. No, absolutely right. If you hold the paper, right here are the ones, the 12, they're both against and Republicans. So that was the one box.
So if it was 4, we would go this whole row.
That's right.
And
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely the way to do it.
So.
No, that type of question was not on yesterday's part, so it didn't show up.
Change the line, change the fix towards the,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the second part of
I enjoy it.
because I
I think I'm
Because it just cover things.
Yeah,
And add them.
yeah, right.
And it's good.
X, yeah, FX.
So did you hear?
You have to do it
On
that
the,
way.
on eight?
You have to do it that way.
When it has and, it's, so you'll take, that's against public option? So, oh, but it's
Okay.
and Republican, so it's this one,
That's
so it's just 12.
So just 12?
Because it's both against and Republican.
So it has to
So it
be
has to
both
be just that one.
requirements.
But if it's
Or
or,
then it's.
if it's or, it's the whole thing and.
I'm feeling real.
That's it.
I'll say.
I feel like you took time.
Sam, did you just write him and explain to him it's not an English class?
Hold on.
Okay.
9.
And two letters. It helps, it helps me.
And or yes.
Person is free?
On eight.
Oh.
So I have 17
Okay,
choices.
Courtney, stay right here, because we'll go to page 2. Okay, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, part 2. Oh, I need to clear out something. We're gonna have to start the test now and not put part 2 up there unless you agree to stay 15 minutes late.
That's our test.
In other words, the class is not over at 6:40, the class will be over at 6:55.
I'm ready.
Is everybody cool on that?
I'm ready for the test. All right.
Okay, good. Let's put a part 2 up there.
Everybody else?
Yeah. You want to hit the test? Okay, I can start the test right now, if you want to. Well, first of all, how many people want to start the test right now? How many people want to put part 2 up there?
How many people just want to be?
How many want to go home?
Take the mulligan and just.
Well, okay, Terry, the bad news is it's about 7-1 against you.
That's fine.
So we gotta go with the majority.
We'll knock it out.
So we'll go to test right now. Does anybody, how many besides Terry want to do part 2? Does anybody? Okay, we'll go to test then. Somebody, sit on time.
Nobody loves me.
I think you trust anybody else.
Yeah.
No, everybody I trust. So we take all the homework, all the book homework, we'll put in this file right here, please. There's no assignment for tonight.
Really?
Oh, so kind. Really?
Just sleep.
Don't cry.
I'm late.
Oh, did I give you the answer? Oh, fine.
Yeah, these are answer sheets, aren't they?
The one with the answer on it. Okay.
I did that once.
Long time.
I Xerox test problems out of my textbook, which I used to.
I find the yellow one soothing. Calm down. What's that?
I thought you would find like red or orange soothing in a fire color.
No.
It suits me.
What's that? Yellow is what?
Okay, good to go.
It's nice knowing all y'all.
I think that you're left in the color.
Yes, well, please.
These all the colors are too light for green.
It's like my own finger.
Oh. You give that to the POW, the ones that were green.
I've never heard anybody say that.
Everything was green.
Everybody gets yellow.
My dad eats that old piece of food.
Who gets yellow too?
Yellow and pink clash, right?
I like that. They're not the color.
Look at that. Now, that doesn't clash to you? Good color
Oh,
block.
it starts with 11. Okay.
Oh, I find the yellow soothing.
What about pink?
Kind of erotic.
I'm glad I asked.
Oh no, he's gonna have weird things in the back now.
But it's,
I could correct the equations to me.
yeah, go for it. Okay, so as usual. Stop at 6:35. No other homework? Okay.
And I'm okay with that too.
Because when you start testing your tech, it's about application, not about knowing what it is. You have to know what it does.
Okay, 20 seconds.
We're just saying.
We're gonna get up
I ain't gonna
to
talk about it.
this topic. It's called not A.
Isn't it section 11.5?
Oh, we're skipping 11.5.
11.6.
Yeah, 11.6.
5 comes after 4.
Is that really interesting?
Page 636, if you want to touch base with the book. Page 636 is where we're at. Now, the probability of A happening plus the probability of A not happening is always going to be equal to what? Either A happens or A what happens. So let me give you a quick example. What's the probability of either throwing a 4 or not throwing a 4?
Throwing a 4, not throwing a 4?
Yeah.
1? Yeah.
It's 1, right? The probability of A happening or A not happening is always 1. What's the probability it's going to rain tomorrow or it's not going to rain? 1. That's right? Okay. It's 1. So I'm going to choose one person out of this class. What's the probability that I either choose Mason or don't choose Mason? 1. So the probability of 1 and not probability of A plus probability of not A always adds up to 1, true? So probability of anything happening plus the probability of it's not happening is certainty. It's certain it's either going to happen or not happen, true? So that is 1.
You just convinced us.
Now, we have that as different notations. The book says not A, but in general, you will see it written as A bar. And sometimes it's written as A tilde. So any of those three notations means not A. It's also called the complement of A. The complement of A. It complements A, completes it, completes the set. Now you can only do this because you're required to have a complete set of all possibilities, some of which will be favorable and the rest of them have to be unfavorable. So you have a complete set of possibilities. That's why you're able to do this. Now, let's talk about kids for a moment. Let's talk about a tree diagram. Okay? If you have 3 kids, what's the probability that 2 of them are girls? Well, let's solve this with a tree diagram.
2.
So the 2 is greater than 1. It's not a probability.
Okay. 3 girls and 1 boy. It's 2.
Double your chance.
Okay, you're doing experimental. You like Erica, you count them out. So these are all possible families. You count them.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one can be either a boy or a girl, true? So a tree diagram, you have a boy the first time, the second child can also be a boy or a girl. If you have a girl the first time, a boy or a girl. And for a boy, it can end up with a third boy or finally a girl. And this can go back to a boy or finish a girl. And this can be boy-girl. And this can also be boy-girl. True? Now, how many different families are possible with 3 kids? Each path is a family, true? This is one family, boy, 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 true? The oldest is a boy, the middle is a boy, the youngster is a boy, right? Here, the older 2 are boys, and the baby is a girl, true? Mm-hmm. What is this? The middle child is a girl. It's a different family, true? And here the baby is, the last two are girls. Okay? So we have 4 different families. This is an older girl and 2 boys, an older girl, a boy, and a baby girl, and 2 girls and a boy, and then all girls. So how many different families are possible with 3 kids? 8 families, right? Is that also known as 2 cubed? Because how many layers do you have?
3.
And each layer doubles it because 1 goes to 2, doesn't it?
Yep.
So if we did 1 more layer, it would split into 2 again. So if you have 4 kids, how many families are possible?
2 to the 4th.
2 to the 4th, agreed? 16, true? You double it up. Now with the tree diagram, the question is trivial to answer. How many families of exactly 2 girls are possible? Okay, well, is that 1? No. 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 There's
Yeah.
1, right? No. It's just counting. There's 2. There's 3. 3, right? So I don't know if I told you this, but the probability of an event happening is the number of favorable cases over the number of total cases. Now, how many different total families were possible? 8, right? And how many of them were favorable of having exactly 2 girls? 3. So probability of having 2 girls in your 3 kids is 3/8, true? What's the probability of having, okay, we won't go there. What's the probability of having all boys?
1
over
8.
8. 1 over 8, right? Probability of having all girls.
1 over 8.
Good. What's the probability of having 2 boys?
3 out of 8.
Okay, what's the probability of having exactly 1 girl? Isn't it the same as the probability of having 2 boys?
Yes.
Just rephrased, true? So it's the same question asked another way. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to what's called the back door. The back door, okay? I'm going to ask the question, what's the probability of at least 1 girl? At least 1 girl, okay? Well, you got to count up all the cases. 1 girl, or 2 girls, or 3 girls, true? And you got to add those together. But let's go in the back door. What's the opposite of having at least 1 girl?
Having 2 boys.
No girls, right?
All boys.
No girls, right? So this is 1, so the probability of at least 1 is 1 minus the probability of none, true? Because that's the opposite, true? Let's go back to complement. Let's do a little algebra. The probability of A is 1 minus the probability of not A. Agreed? The probability of A happening is 1 minus the probability of its opposite happening. The probability of A and its opposite is 1. Let's subtract. So the probability of A happening plus the probability of its opposite happening is 1. Let's subtract the probability of the opposite from both sides. And what do we get? The probability of A is 1 minus the probability of not A.
What?
Now, okay, so let's do a little bit of experiment. Eric, if something has a 60% chance of not occurring, what's the probability it will occur? 40%. So you're used to this, true? If something has a 70% chance of not occurring,
30.
I guess.
He's good at the speed run and jumping.
Then what's the probability of it not occurring? Okay, now suppose something has a probability of 60% of occurring. What's the probability of not occurring? I mumbled that. Suppose it has a 60% chance of occurring.
40%.
40, okay. Now suppose I have a 99% chance of having my sentences finished by Eric. What's the probability that it'll be quiet?
Unusual.
Unusual. Thanks a lot. Okay, so let's go back to the girls. Okay, now, what's the opposite of at least one? None, true? The opposite of at least one is none? Okay, if I'm going to choose at least one person in here to take to a party, and what would be the opposite of doing that? Choosing nobody, true? So the opposite of at least one is none. Erica, you agree with that?
No.
Okay, well, you ask a person, how many children do they have?
Yeah.
They say at least one. Now, what's the opposite of having at least one children?
3.
Is 3 not at least one? Isn't that covered? But you're getting personal experience now. You either have at least one or none, true? Are those the only outcomes? You either have at least one or none. Okay? So none is the opposite of at least one. David, you okay? Oh, okay, good. So if we want to know the probability of at least one girl, we can count up the probability of one girl and add it to the probability of 2 girls and add it to the probability of 3 girls. That's called doing it in a straight direction. Or we can say 1 minus the probability of no girls. True? Because no girls is the opposite of at least 1. Agree? Now, no girls means all what? All boys. And you told me a moment ago, what was the probability of all boys? We'll go back to the tree.
1 over 8.
1 over 8, agreed? Only one case. So, what's the probability of at least one girl? So it's equal to 1 minus 1 over 8. So how do you do that? 1 minus 1 over 8. Well, 1 is how many 8s?
8.
So 8 eighths minus 1 over 8 is
7.
7/8. So you have a 7/8 chance of it having at least one girl.
Out of 8 possibilities.
7 out of 8. 7 out of 8. 7 out of 8 is your chance, probability. 7 chances out of 8. Now, you could have gone back and counted them all up. Let's count them all up. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, true? Mm-hmm. So you can either count them up in a forward direction, or you can say this is the only other one. All the others are successful, right? This is the only one. So 1 minus this has to be the answer. So this is called the probability of at least one is most easily calculated as the 1 minus the probability of none.
It's on 272.
272, 55. Okay, this will still be up there if you want to pull it back later.
Yeah. She used to look at it now more. Yeah.
3 square roots of 75 plus 2 square roots of 12
It's going to be 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3. Go figure it out.
minus 2 square roots of 48. So it's side work time. Side work. So Erica, let's reduce 75 to the lowest square root. Yeah. So it's going to be 25 times 3, true? And that's square root of 25, square roots of 3. It's going to be 5 square roots of 3. Good. Now let's more side work. Let's reduce 12. So what's it going to become? Dave, what do you suggest? What two factors, one of which is a perfect square?
6 times 2.
But neither of those is a perfect square. We want a perfect square so we can pull it outside. So 4 and 3, true?
Oh, yeah.
You want two factors, one of which is a perfect square. Then you can go forward. So this is square root of 4, square root of 3. Terry?
You always put that special number that's on the left in? You always put it on the left?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that for the following reason.
Because that's gonna be
Now,
outside.
how do you know which order?
This is why you do that. Please tell me what this is. Is that 3 square roots of 2, or is that the square root of 23?
Square root of 23.
No, it's 3 square root of 2 times 3. But you see, you don't know unless you put the 3 in front. Then there's no argument. So that's why we do that.
Between 4 and 3, does it matter which order you put them into the?
Inside, no. But after you bring it outside, it's strongly recommended you put the radical sign last, so that there's not any doubt about where it stops. Because Jen, again, is this 3 square roots of 2 or the square root of 23?
No, I'm not saying it
Then
does,
you're
I'm not
okay.
saying it doesn't matter whether you put it on the left or right, I'm like, which one do you put inside the radical?
Oh, the one that's not a perfect square. Now, the square root of 4 is an integer. What is that? 2. So we can make that substitution. But the square root of 3 is not an integer, so it stays. It gets left behind. So the one that comes outside is the one that's a perfect square. Because what is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2, so we can pull it out. The square root of 3 is not an integer, so it has to stay inside. Okay? So after you do a dozen of these, you get to saying it this way. 4 comes out as a 2. 4 is under the radical sign, too. You can bring it to the outside as a 2. And actually what you're doing is in your mind, you're going through this step where you put in the square root of 4 and then recognize the square root of 4 as a 2. So that's replaced. Now let's look at the last one that we have to do. And I'll let you lead me through this just to see how it's coming. We have to do the square root of 48. Square root of 48. Now, what I want to do is to break that into 2 pieces, one of which is a perfect square. So let's remember our perfect squares. 1, 4, help me.
16, 25.
Okay. Now, are any of these going to help us? 16. Yeah, 16 is helpful, right? Because 48 breaks into what? 16 times
3.
There you go.
God. Okay. 16 times 3. Okay. Now, what's our next step? Courtney, what's our next step?
You take the one end, it's perfect.
Outside as a 4, agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do the middle step one more last time, and then afterwards we can just do it mentally. So the 16 comes out as a 4. 16 comes out as a 4. So now let's put our 3 pieces together. Back in the original problem. This one was 5 square roots of 3, so the 3 stays, true? But the 75 became 5 square roots of 3. Now the 2 stays, but the 12 became 2 square roots of 3, agreed? Now the 2 stays, and the 48 became 4 square roots of 3. So you see, these numbers are along for the ride. They're just carried down. This number became 5 square roots of 3. Square root of 12 became 2 square roots of 3. Now since this multiplied the 2, what you replace it by continues to multiply the 2. Now let's do this multiplication. Now you say this is 3 times 5 times the square root of 3. When you write 5 square roots of 3, you mean 5 times the square root of 3. Sometimes that's not mentioned, but that's what it means. Just like 5x means 5 times x, true? So this means 5 times the square root of 3. Now, when you're multiplying 3 numbers, does the order that you multiply them matter? Does not. 3 times 4 times 2 is the same no matter which two you multiply first, to get the same answer. So we can multiply this times this first and get what? 15 square roots of 3 plus 4 square roots of 3 minus, well, close. Use your toes. Okay. Now, so next step is to factor out a common term. And what's a common term that we can factor out? Square root of 3 out of all of them, true? So when we take it out of here, what's left? And that's there, minus 8. So now we're getting a lot closer. 15 plus 4 is 9, minus 8. 15 plus 4 is 19. Minus 8, 11 square root of 3, final answer.